The second molecule is lactate. This lactate is very important. This lactate is formed during the exercise in our body or in those cells which lack the mitochondria, because this lactate is a source of energy for those cells which are exercising, which are the cells which need the more energy, for those cells which are lack of mitochondria, which don't have the mitochondria, like for example RBCs. In those cells, the lactate is a major source of energy. So this lactate is converted plays its role in the gluconeogenesis through another cycle which we name as Cori cycle. What is this Cori cycle? For example, this is suppose we say that this is the liver, this is the liver for example, and here we have muscles. This is, suppose this is a skeletal muscle. In the skeletal muscle, when this skeletal muscle is exercising, at that time we need the energy, and when the demands of skeletal muscle is not fulfilled through the aerobic respiration, then this muscle will start anaerobic glycolysis, and through the anaerobic glycolysis we will have the lactate molecule like this. For example, we have glucose, but because of anaerobic glycolysis from the pyruvate we have lactate, and this lactate or lactic acid is responsible for the muscle cramps, which are very whenever after the exercising after the exercise and we are having the cramps. If you touch the muscle, you will feel pain, and that pain is because of the lactic acid accumulation. And from here, this lactate, it will come into the blood, For example, here we have blood, and through the blood it will go toward the liver. In the liver, this lactate, first it is converted back into the pyruvate through the help of lactate dehydrogenase enzyme. It will be converted back into pyruvate through the lactate dehydrogenase enzyme, and this pyruvate is again through the gluconeogenic pathway. This will be converted back into the glucose, and again this glucose will go back to the muscle. This cycle is called the Cori cycle, and in the Cori cycle, as you can see that this lactate is being converted into the glucose with the help of the liver, and which process is helping the liver to convert it back into the glucose? That process is the gluconeogenesis, from the lactate to pyruvate and from pyruvate to the glucose. This is the glucose. Through the gluconeogenic pathway, this pyruvate is being converted into the glucose, which is again ready to supply, or which is again ready to supply the energy or to go toward the skeletal muscle, which needs which is having need of this molecular, which needs a supply of energy. So this was the role of lactate in the gluconeogenesis, that how it is playing its role as a substrate in the gluconeogenic pathway. And I have explained you that what is a Cori cycle. Cori cycle is the glucose through the anaerobic glycolysis from the pyruvate, it is converted into the lactate, and this lactate will go back to the liver through the blood, and in the liver it will be again converted back into the pyruvate through the lactate dehydrogenase, and then this pyruvate is converted into the glucose through the gluconeogenesis, and this glucose is ready to go to the skeletal muscle. This cycle is called as Cori cycle, but this is the gluconeogenesis pathway. At this point, the gluconeogenesis pathway is taking place. So this was the second substrate which was playing its role as a substrate in the gluconeogenesis. Then comes the third substrate, which is the amino acid. In our body, on the metabolic basis, we know very well that we have three kinds of amino acids: the gluconeogenic amino acids, the ketogenic amino acids, as well as the keto and glucogenic amino acids. So in this, the amino acids which are involved, those amino acids are the amino acids which are involved. These amino acids are glucogenic amino acids. What they are doing, actually, these glucogenic amino acids, these are responsible for the formation of either pyruvate or alpha keto acid. If they are forming the pyruvate, then through this pathway or the Cori cycle pathway, this pyruvate is being used in the gluconeogenic pathway, and the most important one is the alpha keto acids. And if these amino acids, they are giving the oxalo acids, which is a keto acid, this oxalo acid is directly involved in the gluconeogenic pathway. So that's why these amino acids, these are very important, these can act as a substrate in the gluconeogenic pathway. So this was the summary, the introduction of the gluconeogenesis.